A lot of people are under the impression that you can't build muscle mass with a kettlebell, which is because all you really need to build muscle mass is a heavy enough weight to challenge you, time under tension, and enough food. And if you're looking to build as much muscle mass as Ronnie Coleman or Sam Solik, kettlebell probably isn't the best tool for that, and you'll also need to be on gear. However, if you're looking for a lean, muscular physique that performs as well as it looks, then the kettlebell is the tool to get the job done. With that said, there are a few things to take into consideration when building lean muscle mass with the kettlebell, which is what we'll be covering in today's video. And if you stick around to the end, I'll share a simple formula that I use to ensure all muscle groups are receiving adequate work and rest in your functional strength training regimen. Let's dive in, shall we? One of the most common questions I receive when it comes to kettlebell training is, what muscle group does this target? Which isn't really the best way to think about the kettlebell, because kettlebells are less about isolating muscles and more about integrating them in functional patterns that teach your body to move as a strong, functional unit. Which leads me to our first point. When building muscles with the kettlebell, focus less on isolating exercise like bicep curls and more on compound exercises that involve multiple joints and muscle groups working together. Like the single arm row, for instance, because the bicep curl primarily works your biceps muscles, which aren't very big, but a single arm row works your lats, which cover your entire back, and use your bicep as an assistant muscle, meaning you're working way more muscle mass, therefore you put on more muscle mass as you get stronger. Your staple exercises for muscle building with the kettlebells are going to be squat variations, lunges, swings, presses, cleans, rows, and kettlebell carry variations. And I'd like to point out that none of the exercises I just named isolate a muscle group or work one joint at a time. Because if you stick with compound movements for the majority of your training, you'll be able to create dynamic workouts that are as fun as they are challenging, all while building muscle mass more efficiently simply from working more muscles at once. Which leads us to tip number 2, which is take it easy on the variety. Not enough variety is boring as but too much variety can actually hinder progress because there isn't enough time spent mastering techniques to really load up the weight. Or worse, too much variety can cause you to chase gimmicks and wind up like one of those dudes who bought a shake weight.
There's the payoff in just 2 minutes guaranteed. Protein shake weight per minute.
With that said, if you're constantly trying to learn new techniques or chasing the next shiny object without mastering the basics first, you won't be able to lift heavy enough weight to stimulate muscle growth. Look, most men I train with start using a 12, 16, and 20 kilogram kettlebell, which is 26 pounds, 35 pounds, and 44 pounds. While most women start with an 8 kilogram, 12 kilogram, and 16 kilogram kettlebell, which is 18, 26, and 35 pounds, which is perfect when you're establishing your strength base and learning more complex exercises like the clean and the kettlebell swing. However, if you want to build some muscle, you're going to need to up the weight eventually. And after 90 days of really putting in the effort with the kettlebell, because you know consistency is important to see any real progress, there is no reason you shouldn't be grabbing at least a 24 kilogram or 28 kilogram kettlebell and slinging it for your swings and crushing your squats and lunges as a dude. And ladies, there is no reason you shouldn't be looking to grab a 20 kilogram or 24 kilogram kettlebell and taking it for a ride on your swings and squat variations, because if you want to build lean muscle mass, you need to lift heavy shit. Quick side note here, if you want to see how to strike the perfect balance of variety and progressive overload in your kettlebell strength regimen right now, I'm offering a free 7-day trial of kettlebell workouts from our Kettlebell Strength Collective, which includes 3 days per week of kettlebell strength workouts, mobility-focused warm-ups, technique breakdowns of every exercise, and the gradual increases in sets, reps, and intensity necessary to keep the functional strength gains coming. And you can find the link to your free 7-day trial in the description below this video. Now back to the video, one last point on muscle building. When it comes to building muscle mass, your rest periods are crucial. When I was training in gyms, I saw hundreds of people cut the rest periods short during classes. And I want to make this next point abundantly clear. If you are able to cut your rest periods short and still complete your next set, oh, this isn't so bad, you are not lifting heavy enough kettlebells. The reason rest is so crucial is for ATP resynthesis. And for those of you who aren't aware, ATP is responsible for literally every muscle contraction ever. And if you don't rest long enough, you won't be able to lift as much weight or do the volume necessary to stimulate muscle growth, because this process of ATP resynthesis won't have enough time to take place. So if you're looking for a good general guideline to follow on rest, if you're lifting between 6 and 12 reps, 60 seconds to 2 minutes of rest should suffice. And if you're performing 5 reps or less of an exercise, 2 minutes to 5 minutes of rest between sets is a good general guideline. Which I know seems like a long time, but trust me, it is well worth it for muscle gain. Now for the part of the video where I promise you a strength formula for putting together a functional strength regimen that balances muscle groups. Here's the breakdown. Balance your squat and lunge patterns with hinge patterns like kettlebell swings and kettlebell cleans. Balance your pressing patterns with pulling patterns on the upper half. And work in all 3 planes of motion, meaning you should have up and down movements, side to side movements, and rotational movements every single week. And by balancing your squats, hinges, pushes, and pulls while training in every plane of motion, you will leave no muscle untouched and build truly functional strength and muscle mass with the kettlebell. So if you found this guide helpful and want more kettlebell content on the regular, smash that like button below and subscribe to my channel, because there's plenty more where that came from. Until next time, stay humble, stay hungry, stay happy. Cheers.